Hello chess friends, Hikaru Nakamura is renowned for his speed and tactical prowess. He faces off against Magnus Carlsen, the top-rated player known for his mastery in endgames and strategic play. Today I present an incredible chess game between these two super grandmasters. Nakamura started the game with e4, we have c5 knight f3, you can go with d6 e6 or knight c6, e6 and there is an incredible chess trap to checkmate your opponent in just 9 moves. Let me show you the variation. Play d4 capture. a6 to prevent pieces entry, knight c3 knight here queen f3 queen c7 a3 to protecting that square. 2 moves later black plays bishop d6 to activate his piece, castle, and if your opponent plays castle then he will fall in our trap. Knight b5, sacrificing the knight to forking up the pieces. Black is under pressure so queen b8, capture knight e5 queen g3 knight g4 and it's +5 position for white. First play e5 to remove the guard from knight, capture to checkmate him. g6 queen takes knight and black is helpless, it will be checkmate in just 2 moves. A room without books is like a body without a soul, so back to the position. Hikaru goes with another chess opening, knight f6 bishop d3, he didn't play d5 first because Hikaru Nakamura, he plays according to his own style. d5 e5 knight backs bishop c2 and Magnus advanced his pawn on c4, he builds a China wall and he want to develop his queen side naturally while white can push his d-pawn to exchange the pawns or close the position. Castle knight here rook e1 queen c7 queen e2 and Magnus played g5, because he is the subscriber of Stockfish, he want to crash kingside heavily, engage the bishop in the war. d4 takes g4, knight d4 takes. You may think of winning the pawn but you will blunder the rook on e1 and the bishop on c1, try to think one step further at each move. Hikaru moves backs his queen, queen f6 bishop d3, white can play knight b5 to start attacking queenside or he can develop the other knight, but right away. Magnus declared a war on the king side. For this reason, Hikaru planted his bishop on b5, e5 to target the knight, he pushed the c-pawn and Magnus targets the bishop with a6. You might think that why black didn't capture the knight. Well, if black captured the knight then after takes, king has to run and you will lose the queen on f6, the game will be over. So in this position, Hikaru Nakamura played knight to c3, sacrificing the bishop away. Magnus captured the bishop. Hikaru recognizes the king's central position and exploits the initial structure, exploiting black's vulnerabilities on dark squares. The dark square bishop emerges as a hero in this strategic maneuver. So we have knight takes d5, threatening to give a fork and targeting to the queen, and if you dare to move the queen any of these square to protect the pawn then after knight takes b5, you may move the rook from the knight attack, because you are a genius, but knight c7 check will make you fool number 1. Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. So back to the position, Magnus slides the queen away, knight takes b5 rook here knight check king slides. Hikaru should move back the knight but he goes for a bishop attack, threatening knight a6 discover attack to the rook and king, bishop b4 to target the rook, rook e3, mistake move. Anyway here best move for white is to play knight d5 discover check, to eliminate the bishop. If black captures the bishop then play knight f4 discover check to the king and queen at the same time, so king e7 knight check king f8, Magnus Carlsen successfully placed his king in a safe place. Their game is irritating me, their game is like 2 children are fighting on chessboard. Okay bishop b7 to target the rook, if the rook moves away then after takes bishop d6 check will lose the knight on b4. You've got to dance like there's nobody watching, love like you'll never be hurt, sing like there's nobody listening, and live like it's heaven on earth. Back to the position, Magnus played bishop c5, rook d3 was the only best move. Let me show you the variation. King g7 before takes, rook d6 to target the queen, and just play normally, play knight d6 rook e1, black have advantages but white can somehow manage the position, but in this position, Hikaru played rook e2. A mistake move and after some sequences of moves Hikaru pushed the b-pawn, bishop d4, a mistake move, best was to move back the bishop, because after exchanges the knight and bishop, white plays b5 to remove the protection of the pawn, d3 rook here to target the pawn, knight backs knight e7 to target the queen. Hikaru takes advantage of this exposed king position, queen g5 to pin the rook but it's a blunder move actually, best was to play queen f6 because white can play queen c3 check. The king has to move or you have to block the check. If queen f6 happen then bishop e5 will pin the queen, knight takes, rook g5 check is a threat, so if you play knight e6 to protect that square, then counter him with knight d5, queen g6 rook takes knight, discover check and your game will be over. The king is exposed and black can't defend his position at all. So chess friends, if you are enjoying my content then please like and subscribe to my channel. Back to the position. Blunder Nakamura didn't find the best move, instead he played f4, 100% blunder move, because after takes the file gets open and black can push his h-pawn, bishop g3 another mistake because black can play h4 but Magnus missed it and played knight e6, knight d5 and Magnus finally finds the h4 move, queen c3 and black should play f6 but Magnus blundered the game and played knight f6, best was to play f6, let me show you the variation, rook takes f3 knight e5, bishop takes queen takes. Black ends up with extra piece, but in our actual game he played knight f6, blundering the game completely, because after rook takes, black can't protect his f6 knight at all, bishop is coming to add pressure and the game is just devastated. Magnus captured the pawn and after rook takes g3, he got his queen pinned, rook h6 rook to f1. So wish you all the best, thanks for watching, subscribe for more, bye bye, take care, see you soon.